Floodplains. Floodplains are like the lifeline of our area. I don't think most people who live here in Western Washington really do think about floodplains at all. They're these complex systems that really hold so many different values that we all care about. They protect us, they give us food, and they're an important part of what we think of as home.
I grew up in the floodplain on a small dairy farm and have a passion that I probably can't explain for the cows.
Some of the best soils around are in the floodplain. For me, there's nothing better than planting a new crop and seeing it grow.
Floodplains provide storage for water when our flows are too high. They also provide rich soils for the agricultural community. And then they support this really amazing, vital population of salmon. In the Skykomish, like so many of the other river systems, we're experiencing a lot of changes with the way that the river flows. We're seeing very high flows, floods that are really unprecedented. Over the years, we have continued to try to constrain the river, but of course that's not what rivers like to do. They're dynamic, they're fluid, and the more we constrain it, the more it likes to rebel. So really, we just have to start thinking about how do we allow this floodplain to do what it naturally wants to do, which is to hold those floodwaters while still having those other values that we care about.
Probably the biggest challenge of farming in the floodplain is getting people to understand the value of floodplains for farming and to respect how important farming is in the floodplain. It's not blacktop and concrete, it's a green space. I've been in floods my whole life. We know that they're what we have to have.
How has flooding affected your farm?
Drastically, some years it's really minor, but it's always evolving and changing. But it's the price you pay for living in the floodplain. Some years there's been times where it's totally devastated our fields.
I think subconsciously we're thinking about it, because I think it's just always there. Do we have to worry about any animals that need to be moved? What's the soil going to withstand? Are we going to be able to continue farming if we have a major event that changes the course of the river, and if we start losing farm ground to a flooding event, where does that end? These are concerns that I have living in the floodplain.
Dairying or just any kind of farming in this region is important based on we're close to the people. I think a huge part of it is just food security. So having a good, safe food supply, it's absolutely critical that it's protected.
In the past, we really approached the system in silos. The flood people were there, and the agricultural people were there, and the fish people were here. And we didn't really have a way of bringing them all together. Now, we're really working to bring all these pieces together, and we're calling this integrated floodplain management. Flooding is a great unifier. We're all impacted by it, and it's getting worse and worse over time, and it's not going away. So can we use this to get us all to sit down at the table and talk a little bit more?
I believe that as farmers, we are continuing to modernize and improve our practices and learn and grow. That also means working with trying to solve problems that were created 100 or more years ago, and we can't just do that overnight.
To me, it's about just listening to each other and trying to understand the needs. Once you know the needs, and it makes sense, you can work with each other and you can try help each other, not to beat each other down. I don't think anybody has to lose.
Collaboration takes time and effort, and maybe sometimes it works and other times it doesn't. But I really believe it's what we need to do in order to figure out how to address these big changes that are coming our way. My greatest hope, my greatest dream is that we can work within this floodplain to allow it to do what it needs to do while also keeping people safe and fed.